Hi guys. I think I may have broken something, but hopefully it's all still working. Can't seem to ever get ahead of that. Okay. Sorry if you guys could hear me typing while the loading screen was on. That's one of the things I'd worked, I think. Hey Maze, how's it going? So we're doing cervids today, folks. Let me get my... This was yesterday's equine sketching. Not what we're doing today, but I have not had a chance to pull up my references yet, so that's what we're about to do. I do need to get my water because I can already tell my voice is not having it, which is frustrating. Just got some breakfast here because man, it's been really hard for me to get here in the mornings on time. No time for food. There it is. Oh, this thing. One of the things I didn't do yesterday was test out my Cintiq pen on my at-home setup because my pen is not working at home. But it would be nice to be able to do this from home sometimes when I have busy mornings like this. That's okay though. And yesterday. All right, let me, just so you guys have something to look at while I'm finding some reference. We are going to be drawing deer today, folks. So if you are new to deer, wait, what? Tavina Art. Hey, how's it going? A fellow mom. I'm not a mom, so I'm not sure what I said to give that impression. Maybe my voice is so terrible that you can't hear what I'm saying. I tend to mutter, but I'm a chicken mom. I have chickens. No, I am not a mom. Yeah, but congratulations on you being a mom. That is not an easy thing. And welcome. Thanks for joining chat. We're going to be doing, gosh, now I'm just wondering what I said. I gave that impression. Things are falling. Very scary. So we're going to be drawing deer today. This was from yesterday's warm-up sketches. For anyone, if you're new, I've been doing these warm-up sketch series of streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 a.m. roughly, Mountain Standard Time. So if you want to, the chat rules assumed. Oh, what are my chat rules? I don't even know. Shoot. Yeah, so I guess, no, I used to be a teacher. Maybe that's what you're picking up on. So because I used to be a teacher, I try to keep everything pretty PG-13. I also I've noticed over the years my art tends to attract younger viewers, and so I just try to keep it very clean. So it's a clean chat. I'm a stand-in mom, I guess. I'm an internet art mom to all the little tiny baby art students out there. No, but I do have a lot of like friends and family that sometimes watch my streams, and they do have kids, so that's part of it too. And who knows, if you're a kid drawing along right now, you know, this is fine for you too. I want everyone to learn. But yeah, no. I used to be an elementary school art teacher, so I had a lot of young kids. And when I first started streaming, like right after I left teaching, I actually did have a few of my students pop in, and that's what kind of made me a little paranoid about it. I was like, okay, just in case like something is up here and it gets somehow back to a parent, you know, you kind of always have that like, oh shoot, the parents mentality, even if you're no longer in the field. So yeah, I just don't want to get, I don't know. Yeah, just don't want anyone to be mad or upset that, you know, I somehow accidentally exposed a kid to something. So I also only raid pretty clean art streamers usually for that reason. I don't tend to like raid or connect my Twitch to anything that's potentially not safe for work. So I'm a little bit cleaner probably than quite a few places in Twitch. Yeah. How old is your son? Still remember at least one time my former students. Yeah, Amaze has been around for a while. You probably remember that. There was a couple times. Yeah, art mom, exactly. It kind of freaked me out the first time it happened, to be honest. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like, shoot, my students have the internet and they can find me, even though I'm no longer a teacher. It's a little scary. So most of those kids I taught, which is weird to think about, most of them are probably entering college now. It's been a while. But some of the younger ones could still be, like, if any of them even remember me. Probably not when you're 5. I don't think you tend to remember your elementary school art teacher years later. I mean, I do, but I was very focused on art. Anyway, yeah, hopefully that's not the case today. So let's make a new folder. We're gonna be doing deer today, so I'm gonna title this Cervids. And let me get that link to Pinterest posted in here if anyone needs some reference pictures. I'm going to be using this folder. This is where I primarily store my references. So if anyone needs reference pictures, feel free to follow that or just pull things from it. I try to do a good job of citing my sources where I get pictures, but you know how it is on the internet. Sometimes you just find things and you don't know where they come from. So just a general disclaimer, I'm trying, but sometimes you just, yeah, you can't find it or you don't have time to find it, so. Oh, he watches yours, yeah. See, there you go, so you know all about that. So just since there's maybe a few new folks in here, here's what we're going to basically be doing. Since a lot of people tend to have trouble with animals, and I feel like ungulate anatomy is pretty complex too, so we'll start I liked the way we did it yesterday, starting with a skeletal, just a quick proportional, like, form finding sketch. So I'm going to go pull a skeleton picture, and then we'll kind of work from photos and kind of, you know, learn, like, apply what we learned from the photos. But I like this format. So we're going to start with a skeletal sketch, and I actually, because a lot of, like, I don't know about you guys, but deer, the antlers and, like, how to draw those different types of shapes is so complicated. So we are going to do, I found this really great tutorial, and I'll do my best to link to the artist. It's awesome, and we're going to follow along with it and kind of break down the pieces of the antler so that it's not just this weird thing that's hard to draw. So I loved the way they broke it down. So that's what we're doing. Let's these images I'll post in the Discord as well. So yeah, Discord. You can also share your sketches there if you'd like. I can't remember if I posted everywhere that I meant to. Oh well. Anyway. Oh, thanks, Amaze. There's the Discord if you want to join. We have a warm-up sketch section. I'm thinking about calling this Casey's Sketch Along. What do you guys think of that name? I made a tag on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and type that or draw that here. If you do make a sketch and you want to share it, just hashtag with this. I think the hashtag will work on other things too. I'm just following the one on Instagram, but that's what we're doing today. So I know not everybody likes Discord or wants to join a Discord. I know Discord servers can get overwhelming if you're in a lot of them, so no pressure to join mine just to share images, but you can also share there. So all right, here is the image we are going to use today. It's a really good one. And I'm going to try to be really good today and keep all my reference pictures on one layer and all my sketching on another layer. So yeah, let's, wow, I'm terrible at words today. Okay, here we go. So we'll start with this guy. It's a pretty basic little young cervid, it looks like, or maybe some certain type that has short horns, but we'll start from this. And I'll go ahead and post this in chat, or not chat. I guess I could post it in chat too, but I'll post it in Discord. Where did my chat go? I lost it. Thanks, Amaze, for being so on top of those links. You're so good at that. I really, really appreciate you. I know I say that all the time, but I just want to make sure you know. I feel like a good mod is hard to find, and you are a good mod. And a good friend. I appreciate that. Okay. Here we go. I'm up chat. Oh, look at you, Amaze. Jeez Louise, you're so fast. How do you even do that? You just screenshot that? Or I guess maybe you found it in my board. Man, you're so good. You're so fast at things. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm gonna give some cheers to Amaze. If you ever start streaming, sir, I will shout out the crap of your streams, just so you know. You should definitely stream sometime. Okay. Great. So let's go ahead and start with this one. Let me take a drink of water so I don't raspy chat at you guys this whole time. I'm feeling like I forgot to post that I was live somewhere. Oh, probably Instagram, because Instagram is so inconvenient for this. Story, posting that we're live. I'm just going to be lazy and take a terrible photo. I know it's the worst. There we go. Post a link, and here we go. Let's start. So what I like to do for anyone who's new is start a timer. The whole goal of this is to start your day off with 30 minutes, roughly 30 minutes of just drawing from reference. It's a good way to like warm up, you know, the creative muscles and just kind of get your brain working observationally. Sometimes jumping right into a creative prompt can be daunting. A lot of people talk about like how scary and frightening the blank canvas is, right? And I kind of think a lot of that is like you're trying to jump your brain into this like super creative mindset when maybe you're not able to do that all the time. Like for me, I work half the week, so I'm not able to draw for like 3 or 4 days, and then I'm only able to get in the studio Monday through Wednesday. So for me, starting off just like working those muscles, getting them loose, really helps kind of jumpstart the creative process. Oh, thanks. You're so nice, Tavina. Okay. All right. Let me post this really fast so I can focus because I'm terrible at multitasking. Drawing deer. Okay. Boop. Yeah, so this is a good way to kind of break yourself out of those ruts, in my opinion. And it always helps me. So I just figured I need accountability because I'm really bad at doing this regularly. It's a habit I'm trying to develop. I always mean to start my day off with 30 minutes of streaming, like sketching, I mean. But I've just kind of failed at that for the past while. So here's to hopefully breaking the bad habit of not doing that. So kind of like I said on my last few streams, what I like to do is just focus on the shape. So I'm just looking for, just to do like a quick draw over, I'm just looking for like, what are the biggest shapes, right? Like, and then how are they connecting? If you can kind of get those lines, this will kind of help you with the form of the creature as you're drawing from reference, just getting an idea of what's going on under the fur and under the muscle. Yeah, so. And we're not worried about being super detailed here. We talked about this yesterday on the horse stream. We're just trying to get basic shape. I'm probably making that leg a little too angled here. I think it needs to go down more, but that's okay. Basic shape and proportion. So that's the whole purpose of skeletal study. Don't worry about making it super detailed. And this is also a sketch someone did, so keep that in mind as well. There's probably some slight inaccuracies here, so don't worry about committing it all to memory. I do like that they included these little, gosh, what are they called? The prongs on the back. Sesamoid apparently is what they're called. There, look at that. We're learning anatomy, guys. That's a crazy name. They're basically little, usually in male deers, I believe it's mostly male cervids that have these, but they're little prongs on the back of the feet. Fun fact, if you're ever trying to identify deer tracks, that's one way to tell if it's a deer, or if it's a male deer specifically, is if it has these two little impressions in the snow or in the ground behind the hooves. So anyway, we're not learning about tracking and hunting today, guys. We're learning about drawing, so. But if you were here for yesterday's equine stream, or if you watch it later, you will notice some similarities here. They still have a lot of these herbivorous, a lot of herbivores have this actually. I'm not sure why, specifically ungulate herbivores. Yeah, I don't know why they're so elongated. You really see them in hadrosaurs too. Actually, we are going to be doing dinosaurs next week. So if you're a dinosaur fan, definitely come back for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Been getting really into dinos lately. Well, back into dinos. I shouldn't say getting into them. I've always been into them. But anyhow, the more you do this, the more you'll notice a lot of similarities. Now, this is the tricky part, I feel like, for deer specifically. It's really easy to get deer and horse legs mixed up because they are really similar. I feel like this will be more obvious, and we'll look at it when I have some actual photos pulled up of deer. But some of the differences I'm noticing right away is the length of this tibia, right? Compared to, I guess I could pull it up now, compared to our horse. This is a lot thicker and it's a little bit shorter, like it's a little bit closer to the same size as the femur up there. But look at we've got the short femur and then this really long, slender tibia. So keep that in mind. I'm pointing this out also because I tend to mess this part up. Hind legs are like my arch enemy. Hey, Dino fan, yes. I got a little dino emote for you. Hold on. Well, I don't have it personally, but it's from another stream that I've been following a lot lately. Dinosaurs, woo! Hold on. I want to make one of these with some of my own creatures. Yeah, if you're into dinosaurs and you're not following Paleontologizing, what are you even doing? Go follow him right now. Super fun. And again, let me know if the music is too loud, guys. I'm still kind of playing with having music on my stream again that isn't copyrighted, so I can't go back and listen to the VOD to see how loud it is. So keep me posted. There we go. All right, so here's our basic deer. All right, and again, the herbivore skull, very similar between species. It's definitely a lot shorter here on the deer, and the jawline is very different, is what I'm noticing. But I'm sure you guys are noticing things too, especially if you were here yesterday. Right. This is not super accurate, but remember, we're not worried about that. Now, a fun one to look at is the way the horns sit on the bone. So I didn't actually know this until fairly recently, and I guess it makes total sense. I've just never thought about it. But there's actually like a bone spur inside this, like on the skull, to kind of anchor the antler. And even horns have this too, but they're basically like antlers. The whole thing is keratin, right? I'm pretty sure, or it's some kind of similar. Maybe it's just a detachable bone, but I know with horns, like even under the rhino skull, there's like a little spur, and then it's like a keratin sheath on top of that. And I know it's true with sheep, like anything with horns. Antlers, I think they just break off right here. And that's the difference, by the way, between horns and antlers, is that one sheds and the other do not. All right, love the muscles that attach right here. When we get to the musculature of the deer, that's when it really starts to look a lot different than a horse. So if you're still confused and you feel like you're not going to be able to tell the difference, don't worry. We'll figure it out together. We're all learning together. All right, I'm just going to do a quick outline here. I'm not too worried about this stuff, but it does help give us an idea. We can see right here kind of how they've drawn the muscles attaching to the bone and kind of hitting that ankle. This will help you make decisions later, remember, so it's really important. And I just like to note how like long and slender that part of the deer is. They really don't have a ton of muscle on their lower limbs. They're pretty bony. All right, here we go. We have our cervid, guys. Our basic cervid here. Okay, so remember, this is just so we can learn proportion. Feel free to reference back to this later. I'm gonna slide it down. Well, I don't know, maybe I'll just move it. up a little bit. Trying to make as much room as possible for future reference. This song always gets me pumped. Now, before we go too much into drawing from a picture, I remember I did want to share this really cool antler reference that I found. There's the one that they use is caribou, but I think it does a really great job of showing the pieces. So I think it goes in an order. Hold on, let me make sure. So we're just gonna look at this. I'm probably not gonna draw these. I might draw one antler. The image is really small. You'll have to go to my Pinterest to really see this. I'm pretty sure this is someone on Twitter, so I'll give him a shout out once I figure this out. Oh, there it is. Veltkiss on DeviantArt. I don't know. But anyway, I love the way that they broke this into bits. It talks about the different pieces of the antler. So if you think of the antler as like a structure, it's going to help a lot with how you draw it. And again, this is just for caribou, but these same basic principles still apply. Again, yeah, check out that reference if you're looking for this. Oh, schedule. Sorry, I didn't see that. I don't have a schedule command yet, but if you go to the schedule tab on my Twitch, basically it's 10 a.m. for sketch streams, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So like right now for me, I'm in Mountain Time. And then my regular streams are starting at 4 p.m. on Monday and Wednesday. So that's when I do like my portfolio work or just various illustration projects, comic projects, that kind of thing. I'll probably do some special streams during Dinosaur Week. So I'll probably just do like dinosaur themed streams, which will be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Might do a creature feature, my first creature feature stream on Monday, which if you want to know what that's going to be about, you'll have to stay tuned. But I think it's going to be a modern dinosaur that if you've hung around me a while, you know that I'm very fond of, that I happen to keep a few of, to give you a hint. But I think it'll be a good time. So, but anyway, yeah, good point, Tavina. Let me make a note to actually make a schedule command, because that's, I don't know why I haven't done that before. That makes a lot of sense. I'm returning to streaming here on Twitch. I used to stream a lot more, and then I kind of fell off the bandwagon. My life got crazy. But I'm trying to get back into it, so thank you for that. Schedule command on Twitch. I will do that after stream. It's a great idea. If you have any other tips, any other ways I can improve, it's been a big work in progress over the last month. Okay, so just to point out what, if in case you can't see this, the blue is the main beam, is what they're calling the main part of the antler. It's like what everything comes off of. And for reindeer and caribou, pretty much anytime you see, and moose have this too, so do fallow deer. We'll probably draw a fallow deer today because I really like fallow deer. They have what's called a palmade antler shape. So anytime you see an antler that looks like a hand, basically like a palm with fingers, that is called a palmade antler. So moose have these, caribou have these, and fallow deer. There might be one or two others. Irish elk had these when they were alive. They're extinct, of course. But they're those really big shovel-shaped, big palmated antlers, right? They don't have just the prongs, right, that you see on like other types of deer. So they're calling this all kinds of things. We've got the top palm, and they're calling the shovel, and then this they're calling the bez. So you can see the different color bits. But you can apply this. Let me pull up their other ones too. You can apply this to any kind of antler. Hold on, let me pull this one over here as well. We'll just zoom in on it. It's a little easier to see. But it talks about the growth stages. Like again, go to that reference page, like study this. I remember when I was drawing some caribou, I like drew this a bunch of times just to learn it. Talks about non-typical antlers and how like you have exaggerated shovels or exaggerated, what do they call it, a bez, or you know, the top palm can get exaggerated. Then you have some like non-typical growth, right? It's just like random prongs that shouldn't be there. And then finally, here's another really good one that talks about the same thing, just on a regular deer. But yeah, the stages of drawing, right? So you're gonna want to draw the main beam first, and it gives some tips on how to keep them symmetrical, right? And then you draw the top palms coming off of it. So we'll do a quick. So if I was gonna draw this one, right, I'd draw the beam, and then the top palms. Kind of fun, actually. And again, not every deer has these bits, but this is a good way to think of it and kind of where they tend to go. Like for example, elk. Let's pull up an elk really fast. Elk have a different assortment, but it's still the same type of process. Ooh, this is a good one. Here's another really nice one. Might save this one to my anatomy as well. Same thing though, you've got your main beam and then you've got your prongs. So you'll notice different antler types, like this looks like a whitetail or some kind of very basic one, but they tend to have, they don't have prongs that come out like that. This is more like elk and palmated deer. And some elk can have palmated antlers, which is kind of cool looking. It's definitely an abnormal growth thing for them, but they can. But most tend to have, they just grow off the main beam. Basically, they're not sprouting like a new one this way. But just try to break your antlers down into those pieces. So find your main beam and then put the other bits on, basically, is the tip that I have and I want to leave you with. And we'll talk about it more when we get to, like, maybe I'll draw an elk just to what am I trying to say? Illustrate that. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Hopefully that wasn't too much. I just think these are really helpful. And I'm probably going to leave at least this one up here while we're working, just as a, you know, antler anatomy reference, since that tends to be hard. Hey, Cersei, how's it going? I remembered how to say your name. I'm getting better. Okay, see? Look, guys, I'm doing it. I'm keeping all my layers together. We're keeping all the references on one. I'm getting better. All right, I'm going to keep that up for a second in case anybody's looking at that. And let's pull up an elk, since we were just talking about elk and palmated antlers. Let's pull up one of these. I actually have a few palmated elk antler references in my elk folder. Kind of fun. So if anybody's looking to draw from those, feel free. I think I'm going to do, actually elk antlers might be a little too much. Let's start with just a basic whitetail. Hopefully that'll be less intimidating for folks. I'm going to try and find one that's just having a normal pose here. There's so many good ones though. Yeah, I need to really beef up my Cervid folder compared to the other ones. It's kind of limited here. Okay. It's hard to find one that's not half standing in grass, honestly. Okay, don't hate me, but I really want to do this jumping deer. We're not going to yet, but we will do like an action pose at the end, so prepare yourself. All right, let's just do this one. It doesn't show the full body, but... Oh, here we go. Here's a better one. Okay. Oh, that one's pretty too. Gosh. Do you guys feel up to a running pose? I keep finding really good running poses. Really nice antlers too on this one. We'll just do this guy. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. All right, let's do this guy right here. I'll go post him in Discord. I don't think I have him pinned yet, so you may not be able to find him on Maze. We're gonna do this guy for our first warm-up. So it's not too complicated, I hope, and it has a great view of, yeah, the antlers, most of the body. It's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit angled. Hopefully that doesn't throw us off too much. Oh, those antlers look intense. That's okay. We're gonna do it. We have our handy guide, guys. We'll get it done. So remember what they talked about, right? You've got your. We'll talk about the antlers when we get there, but basically, just keep your arches in mind. Okay. We'll figure it out. Let's draw the body first. Remember our form, our proportions, right? Elk are cool. Oh my gosh, they're so cool, and they do sound creepy at night. I agree. I'm doing good. Back from the ad realm. Oh, sorry, I forgot to watch for ads. I try not to talk during the ads because I know that can be really distracting. If there's anything you missed, let me know. I'm happy to fill you in, but I think you just missed me looking for reference, honestly. All right, so we are keeping in mind our form and our proportions. And yeah, let's draw this little whitetail. I think it's a whitetail. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's any deer experts in the chat, might be. Deer are pretty popular. But how are you doing? How was your evening? How was your sleep? I forget actually what time zone you're in, but I hope whatever the past 8 hours have done for you, that they've been good, or 12, however long it's been. All right. So we're gonna remember our skull, like what's going on in there. They got that rounded bottom part. So I'm gonna start with drawing what I know. And this might be rough, guys. I'm not as good at deer. I don't draw them as often, so if you're feeling a little insecure about your deer skills, don't worry, I am too. Remember, the theme of this is get the bad drawings out. That's what we're doing. So don't worry if they look bad. It's okay. East. Oh, okay, EST. Okay, that's not too bad. So it's not like midnight for you right now. Yeah, that's okay. Get distracted. We want people to get distracted with their drawings. We like art around here. Let's see. All right. So I'm thinking about my rib cage under here, or the deer's rib cage. I shouldn't say my rib cage, right? Thinking about the scapular bones, the shoulder blades here, placing everything. And don't feel bad. See, I'm kind of referencing as well because I don't draw deer as often, and I want to make sure I get it all right. And I'm just kind of sketching what I think is going on under here. For me, this is how I learn, how I apply. This is called like applied anatomy, right? So there's just like directly copying an image. So if I was doing that, I would just kind of like, draw the outline, try and get the shape down or whatever. But try to apply what we're talking about, because that's going to help you actually remember it. And remember, the long-term goal of all of this is to be able to draw from imagination, right? You can't draw from imagination and abstract something if you don't really understand how it's put together. So that's the whole goal. All right, I forgot to set my timer again, but it is, we'll just say, I started at like 10:15, so we'll say I'm like halfway through my 30 minutes of sketching. We got our little elbow bone here. And those skinny, bony little legs. Big old feet. Got the hooved toes here. Very fun. Instead of like one single solid hoof, they've got unfused toes. So they have separate toes, like a horse. And it's hard to see in this picture, but one thing that I always notice about deer, and I'll try and find a more muscular picture for the next one. This probably wasn't the best one to choose. I was just trying to find a full body whitetail. This is why, yeah, I think I'm gonna plan for my references ahead of time for tomorrow's stream. So tomorrow we're doing ungulate of choice, I think is the goal. I'm gonna look ahead of time and make sure. So you can do a horse again, you can do a deer again. If you wanted more practice, you could do a totally different ungulate. Yeah, whatever you'd like to do. I'm not sure yet what I'm choosing. I might go with like a sheep or something, just to do a little bit different anatomy. Hey, Charlie's Dragon, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Thanks for hanging out. Talking about deer anatomy today and trying to learn it. Like that fluffy leg back there. Just remember what I try to remember is like the knee position. It's just, and I also notice, I don't know if you guys notice this, I feel like the curve of the hind legs is so much more stark with deer. I might need to do, maybe for movie night sometime, so in Discord, by the way, if you're not in my Discord, probably shouldn't advertise this because I'll probably get in trouble or something, but we do movie night sometimes. Watch it together, that's all I'll say, I suppose. We've been doing some like claymation lately, some Don Bluth a few months ago. Maybe we'll do a Bambi Bambi movie night one time, just because I want to learn. I want to study. Like, I feel like the deer anatomy in Bambi is so good, especially the first one, the original, I should say, the OG. They did such a good job of like animating and hand drawing all those really intricate bits. Because I feel like when you watch Bambi, you'll notice like his hind legs are like this, like it's like a straight down from the side, which you wouldn't see in a horse, right? Horses have more of an angle going on with that leg. Anyway, and it may be more prominent in baby deer, I don't know, but now this leg, don't let it fool you. He's basically got his elbow pulled back, so it's gonna look really short and awkward. I'm gonna kind of change the angle slightly just so it doesn't look quite as weird in the drawing. I know you're not supposed to take creative liberties, but that's what we're doing right now. There we go. Looks like he's about to rear up on his hind legs, so he's kind of getting in position. Yeah, Charlie's Dragon knows about dinosaurs. We were talking about dinosaurs a little bit, Tabina and I. I was talking about how next week, so I found out like this list of obscure holidays, I guess. And next week is Dinosaur Week for some reason. I'm not sure who decides these things. But I think it's Tuesday. Is Draw a Dinosaur Day. Like, it's literally the name of the day. So I'm actually doing a special stream next Tuesday. I normally only stream Mondays and Wednesdays, like in the afternoons, like my longer streams. But we're going to do a special one on Tuesday because I want to celebrate. And it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. Dinosaurs Week, I know, so exciting. So yeah, I need to plan ahead for that one for sure. So, but yeah, all the sketch streams next week will be dinosaur themed. So I think we decided on sauropods on Monday, sauropods on Tuesday, which are going to be like triceratops and hadrosaurs, those kinds of things. My personal favorite dinosaur, Parasaurolophus. So I will be drawing a Parasaurolophus that day. So if you want to draw something else, you're going to have to find your own ref, guys. And then theropods on Wednesday. So that's kind of how I'm breaking it down. I know there's technically another group. I forget the name of them. It's the one that has ankylosaur in it. Maybe you know Charlie's Dragon. Yeah, I'm sure people just make these things up and they catch on or they don't. It's kind of like hashtag trends on Instagram, right? It's just like, well, sometimes they take off and sometimes they don't. But either way, apparently I found out somewhere some people celebrate Dinosaur Week next week, so we're doing it too. It's a nice tie-in because I've been drawing a lot of them anyway, and I've been wanting to add some more stickers to my dinosaur sticker set, so it'll be a good excuse to practice. Yeah, practice stuff. Yeah, those never catch on, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think it's, yeah, we tend to catch on to things we're interested more, or things that impact us, and stuff for illnesses. A lot of times they're so niche, it's like people just can't connect, which is unfortunate. Like, I wish, we were better at being empathetic in those ways, but some people are. Maybe we'll get better with time. Who knows? I like to try and be an optimist, despite humanity's best efforts at times to remove that tendency from me. Tactical optimism is what I call it. Okay, so this is a little complex for these antlers, guys. I'm gonna try and parse this out really fast, but from what I can tell, if we're looking at our, our antler anatomy picture, we're looking for the main beam, right? And the main beam is always gonna start here, and it's gonna have the point included. So to me, that looks like this piece, right? I'm actually gonna do some tracing. This actually looks like some abnormal antlers right here. They're kind of weird. This is an old buck. It's kind of got those gnarly fingernail situations going on. But yeah, so this is our main beam right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that the main beam, and I might simplify it just for the sake of the drawing, because it looks like it is kind of wiggly right here. It kind of does a weird thing. And I'm gonna say I'm going to say this is the other main beam, I think. Yeah. Even though it's going this way. Because remember, so one of these pictures, they describe it as like a bowl. So I think if you were to read this, you could understand that more. But basically, like, think of antlers as like, they come out of the head like this, and it's like a bowl. So no matter which way you turn that bowl, there's always going to be these points kind of touching each other, creating the shape of the bowl, right? So here's our bowl. So it looks kind of like it's holding up a saucer, right? So think of it that way. So here's our bowl, right? So here's, if we were to draw this like a bowl, it would be like this. So here's the opening of the bowl, and here's the actual bottom part of the bowl, right? So the antlers come around the bowl. So that helps me kind of think about it. So here's our beam. Here's our other beam coming around the other side of the bowl there. Again, I'm kind of simplifying. So let's just go step by step with this right here. Or I guess which one's the step-by-step one? Beam, then you draw your top palm, then your bottom, and then your prongs. So we'll just do it that way. We'll follow the tutorial, guys. I meant things for illness is decided by organizations. It's not just, oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not just some person saying, let's celebrate this, but it's like, hey, we want to bring awareness to this illness, so we're creating an official day. I see what you mean. Yeah. The tricky thing about antlers is they look completely different depending on the viewing angle. Yeah, for sure. And that's why, like, for me, thinking about it like they're holding a bowl and it just turns, and just trying to remember like which way the main beam is facing, which is why I love how they break this down. Like, if you can just picture this main beam kind of encircling a bowl, and as it moves, as long as you can get that main beam down, I feel like you can kind of find where the rest of it goes. I think this is a really great way to describe this. There's a more simplified one here but you can still see the bowl, right? Yeah. So all antlers tend to do this. It's like, I wish I could describe it a little better, but this antler right here is kind of wrapping toward the camera, just how this one is right here, kind of coming toward the camera to create that bowl shape. So anyway, let's try it. I mean, I could just be, look, these could all look terrible because I'm not very good at this. I understand the theory, but actually implementing it is another story. So again, I'm going to simplify these antlers because they do look a little bit abnormal. I do think this might be an older buck. So there's the first, the main beam, right? I'm going to kind of skinny it up just a little bit. And so the other one's coming out this way. It's going back, but then it's coming forward, and we're seeing the forward part. So see, back and forward, right? That's kind of basically what they do, just rounded. And I think I did that a little too round, actually. Hold on. It needs to come, I am still looking at this shape. It needs to come more this way, toward the front of the bowl. There we go. Okay. It's not going to be perfect, guys, but we're all learning. Just keep that in mind. So before I do anything else, I'm not going to get distracted by any other prongs here. I know it looks like a bull, but it's going to change. We're going to draw the part that's coming forward on this antler. Do you guys see that, what I'm talking about? So this is the part you're seeing on both sides. You just can't see this part because it's like bent that way. So that's why it looks like it's coming out of his head. And it's also why it's slightly turning toward the camera, right? Because it's doing the bull thing. Okay, so the next one they recommend doing is these top prongs. So I'm going to say that this right here is this green one. So we're going to hold off on that one. I'm just going to draw these. So think of our bowl. And again, if you want this picture, it is in that reference folder on Pinterest. I should probably make a Pinterest alert, or while we're doing these anyway. A Pinterest command so people can find those references easily. I won't be updating it probably with like the one we're doing, just because that's a lot of prep work for me, but you can find it. I try to have it decently organized. I need to fix some things, but it's more or less organized, I feel like. Okay, I think I did this a little too thick still. Okay, there we go. All right, and now, so this one's coming this way, and this one's doing the same thing. It's just a mirror image. Now, the other thing about antlers that can make them tricky is they're not always symmetrical. Most of the time they're slightly asymmetrical. They're going to have the same bits, but sometimes they don't quite look exactly the same. So don't worry about that so much. All right, now we're going to draw the bottom. They call it the shovel here for a caribou because this is a palmade antler, remember? But this one doesn't have that. Like these just have the pink one, really, and it goes this way. So we're going to skip the shovel. There is no shovel, right? There's nothing coming this way off of the deer. It will for an elk, which we'll do an elk in a minute. I know it's probably hard to see too, but a lot of it's really visible too in these white tails and stuff, but there's a lot of like bumpy texture going on the base of these antlers, so feel free to add that too. But let's draw this little bit here. And I see the other one poking up right there, right above his eye. So remember, it's coming up toward around the bowl, so it's doing the same thing, it's just a slightly different order. I'm gonna make it a little more straight though. I think I made it too rounded. Okay. Starting to look like a deer, less like a bull. Oops, I broke my chat. Hold on. I always do that. The bull! The bull! I'm glad you like the bull thinking, yeah. Not a good 3D modeler, just dabbled with it. Oh shoot, hold on. I missed something about 3D. 2D art's harder than 3D because it's flattened, so you'll get, yes. Foreshortening is so complicated, yeah. I think I prefer 3D as well. Like, I used to do sculpting streams, and I want to do some of those again this year, just like creature sculpts. They're just fun. I don't make any money off of them. They're hard to sell. I'm afraid to ship them, so I don't really know what to do with them after I made them. I have a couple actually that I'm probably gonna try and sell this year. But they're fun, and I like it for the reasons that you talked about. Like you can really get a good idea of form. I think 3D. And honestly, if you have trouble, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but if you have trouble with foreshortening in 2D, do a quick model. A lot of artists do that. And a lot of animation, that's what they do. Traditionally, when they were working before CGI, they would actually make a sculpture, like a maquette, mock-up of whatever animated character. And then they could turn it and actually visualize the foreshortening in person. It's really, really handy to have. And I know comic artists that do models of like rooms, like settings and characters. I think Amaze has actually done that with his characters before for his work. And I even know like some artists like James Gurney. He does a lot of super hyper realistic, very, very beautiful gouache and a lot of Dinotopia and such. He does little tiny like models just so he can look at the lighting and foreshortening and all of that. So it's a really useful technique, especially if you're working on like a really intense piece that you want to make sure you get everything right structurally before you really spend hours and hours painting or working it up. So it's a good idea. All right, so there's our deer. We just got to add these back prongs now. So I'm going to think about my bowl again. It's kind of hard to parse out. I'm just basing this on this other one I'm seeing in the background. It looks, I can't tell. It looks like he's got some velvet hanging off. So he might be scratching off velvet, or maybe he's scratching on a tree to scent mark. So I can't tell if this is like a piece of the antler or some velvet or a tree. I can't really tell from the picture, so I'm just gonna nix that. This is that creative liberty we talked about, and I'm just drawing, because I can definitely see two prongs here and two prongs here, so I'm just gonna draw those. Just hope I'm getting it somewhat right. Oops, my music died. Oh no. I can't believe we already went through that playlist, you guys. Holy cow. I think this happened yesterday. I need to make an actual playlist here. There we go. That should get us through at least this next drawing. Okay, let's finish this one and move on. Hopefully hopefully what I'm saying is helpful. I'm learning too, so you know, the things that I say, I might find a better way to do it someday, or I might change my mind and be like, wow, that was the worst advice I've ever given. So I apologize if I'm misleading anybody, but this is the way I'm thinking about it as I'm working. So hopefully that's worth, for whatever that's worth, hopefully it's helpful. Especially if you're somebody watching this who doesn't draw a lot or doesn't do animals a lot and is feeling kind of unsure of how to approach it. That's kind of my goal with my rambles. So feel free to mute me if you don't want to hear them, but I'm going to keep explaining my process a little bit in the hopes that it's helpful, you know. So I don't need these guidelines for the shoulder blade anymore, so I'm kind of erasing those bones that I sketched in loosely. I am going to keep some of them because I know there's a big muscle group over here. I forget, we need to look at another deer because this one you can't see. I think it's too fluffy, like I can't see the muscle detail that I need. All right, let's do these prongs before I get more distracted because if you haven't noticed, I'm a little ADD when it comes to my work. Potentially ADD in general, but don't know that for sure, so I'm not gonna be one of those internet diagnosy people. Although I have a theory just from teaching that just modern society in general is making everybody a little more ADD. So much technology, there's a lot of studies that connect ADD to early technology use, and so there's a lot of kids being diagnosed with it because they're getting on tech so early, I think. There's definitely a strong connection there. But even as adults, I think our brains, if we start wiring our brains to need that really instant gratification or instant dopamine, I don't know, all the entertainment and gaming stuff I think doesn't help. I mean, not that I'm against those things, I'm just pointing something out, but anyway. It's all Casey speculation. All right, so there's our deer, our slightly older buck who has some kind of misshapen antlers, but we did our best here. I'm gonna scooch him over and pick another reference. I'm sure some of you were already done with that, so apologies if I took too long rambling about things. Although I did just realize I left out his hoof. Hold on, we gotta draw his other foot here. Can't have him being hoofless. Okay. All right, next one. Yeah, if you want to get into 3D modeling, by the way, I used to use Sculptress. It's actually part of why I was excited to build this new PC. It can actually handle streaming and a heavy use program like Sculptress at the same time. So I might do some of that too. I haven't played with it in a long time because it was bogging down my old computer to run it when I was doing anything else, and it just got annoying. So, okay, great. I'm glad the bowl is helpful. Yeah, I'm glad that's a helpful concept for you guys. Adding the second layer of prongs instantly turned the horns and antlers. Exactly. I know, it's crazy, right? They look like horns. That's why I'm telling you this. When I found this thing, I really do. I'll give a shout out to this person on Twitter. Hopefully they don't mind me showing off this this tutorial, but it's awesome. It's in my Pinterest folder, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, we're using it right now. James Gurney, so good, right? Keep clay just in case. That's right. That's right. Yeah, there's Amaze's his comic stuff. Yeah, super helpful. I have the Dinotonio. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get caught in chat now. I'm gonna pause my 30-minute sketch timer. We're gonna chit chat for a second. Love nerding out about creature stuff. His Dinotopia book was fascinating to see how he breaks his research done. Do you have his? So he made one pretty recently. I think I just saw on his Instagram. Like, if you guys aren't following James Gurney, you really should be. So incredibly inspirational. I love looking at his work. I love how he breaks things down. He definitely has like a teacher spirit, you know. But he's doing a new one, I think, and he came out with a third book. So there's 3 in the series, not counting little spin-offs. I have them, and I have one of the spin-offs. The last one he did. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to look at this. I know this isn't on topic. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll put up another picture in a second, but you have to look at this image. Like, if you haven't seen, I think it came out in like 2015 or 16, maybe somewhere around there. But if you don't have Dinotopia, The Journey to Shandara, like, first of all, can we just admire, hold on, I have like an actual camera here. Can we just admire how beautiful this is for a second? Like, look at this wraparound cover. Do you guys see? I can't even tell if this is on screen, but like, holy monkeys. It's beautiful. And looking at this book and comparing it to the first Dinotopia book, oh shoot, there's an ad. Oh no, we're gonna cancel this ad. Sorry, ad canceled. We have to talk about James Gurney really fast. But holy monkeys, like the amount of like fun it's just a giant art book basically. I mean, there is a story involved, but like look at this cool like dinosaur armor for like fighting fires. I mean, obviously very impractical, but gorgeous. um, yeah, just the way he handles light and color just blows me away. So if you're looking for really cool inspirational art book that handles lighting in just a way that I can only hope to one day be able to make an environment. And by the way, my camera is not doing this justice at all, but it's gorgeous. So highly recommend this book if you, or the whole series really. But it's cool to see how his work has gotten so much better from the original. Like the original is amazing too, but just yeah, you can see the hours of observational studying that he's done, and like he builds maquettes for his builds maquettes for his work. He walks through all of that on his blog. I might look at this later, so I'm gonna leave it here. Highly recommend it though. So let's get off my giant face now. That'd be great. Blender is free. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yep. Trying to apply my gesture drawing. Yep. Yeah, that's great. That's all. That's what we want, right? It's the old book. Yeah, seriously, you gotta get the new ones. The second one's really good too. Like they're all good. I have all of them, but this most recent one is gorgeous. And I'm really, really excited that he's making another one. I wasn't sure if he would, but highly recommend it. He just announced it on his Instagram a couple days ago. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what he's got going on. All right, let's find an elk. I really love elk. I don't even know. Here we go. I have a whole folder for them. I need to organize my Cervids folder, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, here's a great one. Shows pretty much the whole body. It's a nice little pose, and the antlers look really easy to parse. So let's do this one for the elk now. I'm gonna post that in Discord. Oh shoot, hold on, that's the wrong thing. Ah! Here's the link if anyone wants the image that we'll be using. Copy. Try to see. Alrighty, here we go. I'm gonna draw this majestic elk. Hold on, guys. I gotta make sure I'm actually. Am I doing a good job here with this? Yes. I have my references all on mostly the same layer. Okay. I'm doing better, guys. I'm doing better. Remembering layer organization. It's important. All right, merge this one down. Perfect. There we go. Sketches on this one. Okay. Look at that. I can do it. Maybe Amaze, I won't need that command one day. My layers command. Probably will. I probably will always need that, but I like to pretend that maybe one day I won't need it as much. I'll get away from this. Okay. Thank you, Amaze, for posting that in Discord. Okay. Great. Let's sketch this one. So yeah, let's do our same bits. I know I said I was going to get a better anatomy study, but I want to work on these antlers more and talk more about those. Yeah. So this is an elk. You can see right away the antlers are different. They do have those forward prongs. I forget what they call them. I think they called it a shovel on the palmade. I don't know if that's what it's called here, but you can see all the pieces, right? We got the long base, or the main beam, right? And then you can see that bowl shape, how they're all kind of curved inward, facing each other, like grasping the bowl. Yeah. Well, it could be. Alrighty. I love how fluffy elk are too. This picture's a little blurry actually. I'm gonna shrink it down slightly. Sometimes when I have pixelated images like this, just kind of making it a little smaller can actually help clarify it some, at least for me. And I can move it now because it'll fit. up here so nicely. Look at that. That economy of space. Oh. I don't know if I left enough room for the antlers, actually. All right, so I gotta remind myself, I'm saying this for me too, but we gotta remember our shapes, right? This is what we're looking for, is shapes, big shapes. So what are the biggest shapes you see? Where are the big muscle groupings, the big skeletal groupings, right? So they're kind of stacked up on each other because we're looking at it from a foreshortened a little bit angle again. It's really apparently hard to find a deer who's just standing in perfect profile, is what I'm learning today. So yeah, proportion in relation to the head, especially if you're like me and you're drawing it bigger or smaller than the image, can be kind of tricky. So you want to make sure that those things are right before you pay attention to the slope of the body too. That's helpful. Okay, I definitely am drawing that part too small. Hold on. I just turned 35. And I know this looks funny right now because it looks like his shoulder is really high, and it is, but he's up on, you know, some of that's the angle, and some of that is just they're a very muscular animal. We might do another elk one, just because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. And all stars go dark. Love the fluff. They have these wonderful manes on them, these elk. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an elk in person. They have a lot of them here in Colorado, but they're impressive animals, certainly. I may just have to find like a deer musculature picture. Because I did want to talk about the muscle structure a little bit more than we have. Specifically on the limbs. I feel like that's one of the distinctive things. If you draw horses a lot and you're trying to draw a deer, a lot of times you will see there's a difference in the way the muscles impact the skin, and it creates different folds basically, or more pronounced folds in the one versus the other. We'll find a good one. Of course, I said that last time, and then I found this nice antler picture. So we'll see. We'll try and find another one, or I'll get distracted. Those are the options, really. Now, unfortunately, we can't quite see the feet here, so I hate to just make it up. I think we're just gonna. I think just because we can't see it, I don't want to learn the wrong thing. So I'm just gonna draw what I see here. I do like their little rump, fuzzy rump here. And I want to note how long the face of an elk is. It's definitely a little bit horse-like in that way. It's a much thicker muzzle than a small little whitetail. Those very fuzzy cheeks. So I am approaching my 30-minute mark here. It's very exciting. I am going to do some more though, because I'm not quite done with these studies. They're kind of fun. And I do have a possible project I'll be working on that has deer, so I do need to practice this anyway. So I think I'll do a few more regardless, but if anybody finishes this and they got to head out, that is okay. I think I drew his head slightly too big. Just looking at the proportions here, hold on. Look at this little muzzle shape though, so good. Maybe we'll do a portrait of a deer just to get a nice close-up of these antlers. And a lot of people forget like moose. Moose are a deer also, so they are in the cervid family. And so if you want to practice a moose, I drew a moose on my Christmas card last year. Spent a lot of time drawing moose. All right, let's do the antlers, the fun part that makes it look like a deer and not a sheep. Especially this guy. I feel like he's looking really sheepy for some reason. They're similar. That's kind of why I want to I've never really studied sheep, so I think I might do sheep tomorrow, like a bighorn sheep. I think that'll be fun to kind of learn the differences between the animals. I have to find a less blurry photo. All right, so here's our main beam. You can see how it kind of, it's very long, kind of curves around toward each other in the back. So the bowl here, it's almost like an elongated bowl, right? But it's still a bowl. It's just not quite as more oval shaped. So yeah, let's work on that. So we have our long, kind of curved back antler that makes it look very much like a sheep still, or an ibex. That would be a fun one to do. I don't know if you guys have seen ibex before. Talk about crazy horns. Okay, I'm gonna do the other one now. And remember, this one's kind of curving around this way on the bowl. So it's gonna kind of look like it's going out and around. It's basically what's happening here. So it's going out. I'm just trying to visualize this as if I were sculpting it, right? So we talked about sculpting. And that's why the shapes look different. But the basic concept is still there. So it's going out and around this bowl, kind of cupping it a little bit and then tilting down. There we go. A little bit skinny, but that's okay. I'll fix it in a second. Just trying to get that shape. You see a mule deer, do you? Like right now, like outside your window. So this is an elk. I don't know if you mean this. Was this a mule deer? No, that looks like a whitetail. We have a lot of mule deer here in Colorado too. Look them up if you've never seen one. They look really similar to whitetails, but they are going to have big ears. Oh, you see one outside your window? That's so cool. It was in the driveway? Like right now? That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I want to see a picture. They are really cool. Deer are some of the neatest animals, guys. All right, I feel like I didn't draw the angle of this quite right. Hold on. This is going to bug me. I think I'm turning too soon. Up here. All right. This is kind of the shape I'm going for. There we go. So if you're drawing traditionally and you're wanting to know, like, I mean, you've probably seen me a few times kind of check the flow of something, like just to kind of make sure that I've got the right, you know, basic lines, like lines of movement. You know, get tracing paper. Tracing paper over your reference is a great way to do that. I'll try to be better about posting ahead of time the reference in case somebody does want to print it out. I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. You could just hold up the tracing paper even to the screen once you have the picture pulled up. Yeah, highly recommend. See, even that's still not quite right, but I think I'm over exaggerating some things, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna move on. So let's do the shovel part, the part that sticks out. And it's a little confusing, right? Because you can see 1, 2, 3 prongs, and you might be like, wait a minute, which one is the one coming out? So let's remember, right? We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points on this buck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is actually this right here. It's that pink one, the pink one in the drawing. So it's, I forget what they called it, the bez. So we have the shovel and the bez, right? So it's easy to get confused when you look at these things. Just double check yourself, you know. Don't be afraid of counting. So I'm gonna do this guy right here, like the shovel or the point that comes out. Elk have really cool looking antlers. They're basically like this. and they come out of the head right there. I mean, that's a terrible drawing, but you know what I mean. It looks like a sled or like a ski slope or something. So the other one, the other prong, is right there. It's just because of that angle that we're seeing this one, the one that sticks up here, we're actually seeing it right behind. Because remember, our antler is curving around. And maybe that's, some of that might be on me for drawing this poorly. Hold on. I don't think I made it curve quite enough to really imply that. There we go. So it's starting here, but it's actually, because it's so big, it's poking out right here. So that's why that looks a little confusing. Anyway. There we go. Once you get all your guidelines erased, it can help a lot. There we are. I think I drew his ear a little too high, probably. Let's get in the way there a little bit. Let's move that guy down. There we go. All right, so we got our shovel, our bez. Let's do this tall, fun one right here. I really like how majestic that looks. Coming out of the top, pretty straight. Now here, because it's coming toward the camera, it's gonna look shorter, right? It's coming out of the side of the antler, just because of the way that shovel is working. So it's like kind of this way, basically. But it is that same mirror image prong. Just doesn't quite look as tall. That's okay. Okay. And then we've got our, oh, that's why this looks weird. I see what I did. Okay. Let's, okay, we'll go ahead and just use this. I feel like I didn't quite make it look enough like a hand. And I think that's why it looks weird. Like, I think it should probably be up a little more, but that's okay. Just for the sake, we learned and we're moving on. I'm not gonna get too caught up because I wanna do another one. I don't wanna spend all day drawing deer, so. Antlers are tough, you know? All right, and then that is this one right here. So let's go find that on the branch. Looks like a tree branch to me. There's a little bit of a tangent here because it's kind of running into it. So again, I'm going to take some creative liberties and just kind of scoot it a little farther up. These are small decisions you can make that can help your picture. Like if I were to leave it the way it looks in the photo, that might just be hard to read. Like it kind of makes it, because this is flat and not three-dimensional, it kind of makes it almost flattens it in a way, and it looks kind of like you messed up. So sometimes copying exactly is not always the best. All right, and then we're gonna do this little guy. A little bit of pomade almost happening right there. It's kind of that webbing that's happening in between these antlers, and that's what can get exaggerated sometimes. And this guy's huge, so this is one of those asymmetrical things I think that we were talking about. Like this one looks much smaller, this one's much taller, but they are the same part of the antler. They don't always grow exactly identical, and that is okay. You can also just chalk it up to foreshortening. So, all right, there we go. Yeah, but mule deer have like long ears, so they're really cute. They look like a whitetail, or I guess probably more like a blacktail, a little darker. They have these really long, big ears, and they're so adorable. I'd never seen one until I moved to Colorado. Oh shoot, wait, what happened? I missed a story. They're cool, but terrify me a lot. Yes, oh my gosh, hitting a deer, so scary. Hit one last spring while driving through Kansas. Oh no, in the middle of the night. That's awful. I hope everything was okay. Never before seen a doe so chill around humans. Yeah, sometimes deer can be very urbanized. Down in San Antonio, Texas, they're everywhere. They just hang out in people's yards. It's so weird. They don't like that in DFW. I think maybe it's just not enough. I don't know why. Maybe there's less. Oh, my voice is going again. Sorry, guys. We were okay, just shaking. Okay, good. Fiance was driving the car. Oh no! Oh no! You were airborne for a few seconds? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's terrifying. Well, I'm glad that you blocked it for her, but gosh, was your car okay? It sounds like maybe it wasn't. Group in the city, fascinated. Oh, thanks, yeah. So many deer that they're more so viewed as pets, I bet. Yeah, you're kind of you're in the East Coast. Both of you are in EST. Maybe you're in similar parts of the country. At least it wasn't a moose. Oh yeah, a moose will just pulverize your car. Honestly, elk are so big. If you hit an elk, it'll probably total your car too. I mean, even a deer if you hit it fast enough. But these things, sometimes people hit elk and moose and they just get up and walk away and the car is destroyed. Like it's crazy. They're massive, massive creatures. A truck was okay. At least it was a truck. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. They're crazy. And baby elk actually look a lot like horses, like baby horses. They have a very similar sort of a face, I guess, a very similar structure. So just because we drew, this cervid, these are all different species, so they're going to be put together slightly differently. So these are the same bones that are all there and mostly the same structures, but the musculature and maybe even the size of the bones can vary. With domestic horses, they're all sharing the basic anatomy, so it's a little bit easier to kind of just modify the muscles and make it look like a draft horse or a quarter horse or whatever you're doing, or a pony. Well, a pony might be a little different because those are a lot squattier sometimes. But yeah, with different species of animals, even if they're in the same family, they can be wildly different anatomy. Like look at a moose. Still a deer, but man. Okay, let's move on to another one. Yeah, when I got my car, I'd never hit a deer before. And when I got so I lived in Colorado. I've lived here since 2015. Never hit a deer, never hit anything, hardly even drove, to be honest, so that could be why. And then I finally got a car that could actually handle the icy roads because I was driving a two-wheel drive car when I moved here. And it took me a long time to finally upgrade, but I finally took the plunge and got a Forester, which is a all-wheel drive vehicle, so I could actually not die in the snow, which is ideal. And so I was driving and it was at dusk, actually. I think they say it happens the most at dusk and dawn, right, that people hit deer. But I was driving home from Rocky Mountain National Park with a friend, and it was like a month, maybe a month and a half after I got my car. Like I just got it in 2020, finally upgraded because I was doing a lot more driving into the mountains because everything was shut down. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a better car. It was a month after, and this deer, like we're driving, and there's like a slope to my right, and this deer just jumps, like leaps up out of this ditch. Like I couldn't see it at all. All I remember is we were talking about the clouds because there was like, as the sun was setting, there was like this cool lenticular cloud, and I just remember going like, oh, look at that lenticular cloud, and then wham, this deer is right in front of me. And so I tried to like move out of the way a little bit and tried to avoid it because it jumped into the middle of the street. So I kind of swerved slightly, which I know you're not supposed to, but it just automatically happened. Like I tried to avoid it slightly. So I kind of drove toward the edge of that like slope, but didn't drive off of it. Just like tried to go around the deer. And so I slammed on the brakes. And so the deer, I ended up basically just like pushing the hindquarters of the deer with the front of my car. So I just remember he went like, oh, and then he like looked at me and just like ran off. Meanwhile, my car, my Forester, was like the whole front left, like the headlight was busted out and it was like smushed and there was like little bits of deer fur in it. And I think actually it managed not to mess up the hood. It was just like the fender basically and the headlight that got smashed. But nothing actually like bent. So that's how I know I didn't hit it too hard. But even that little mule deer, like I did quite a bit of damage. Like I managed to slow down to like 30, I think 30 or 35 before I pushed it. But again, it was just like I caught it like in this part, like the muscly part. I don't think I hit its leg. I think it was just that part because I just remember it looked like it like got pushed from the rump. And then it just ran off. So I think it was fine. But yeah, I was so like I had just gotten this car and it was like a month later. And of course, of course I hit a deer. Thankfully my insurance covered it. So that part was nice at least. But yeah, it's a scary thing. All right, let's pull up another one. And that will help. Yeah, it walked away. I know. It made me feel better because I was like really sad because I didn't want to hurt the, you know, I don't want to hurt it. But yeah, it just walked away. It was crazy. So that's how, at least in my head, I tell myself it was fine because it was able to just like scamper off. Didn't even look, there was no blood on the ground. There was just a little bit of fur caught in the headlight glass, like where it had pinched and pulled, I guess, when it hit. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it had a bruisey thigh. And it, I mean, who knows? It may have hurt it may have a bruised bone. Hopefully it didn't break anything, but it looked like it ran off just fine. So I'm assuming it was okay. It wasn't really like an internal organs place, so I'm hoping there was no like bad internal bleeding. I'm sure it was bruised. You're in Illinois and you lived in Southern Cali. Oh, okay, visit friends in Utah. Wow, you've been like all over. Found the animal life mountains. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's why I moved here. I moved here for the mountains, the inspiration of the mountains, right? Texas is flat and dry. Not very inspirational most of the time. Okay. Let's figure out why I can't keep music on. And oh, let's do this song. I like that song. And let's find a new picture. So let's see. I really do want to take a minute and find a cervid that really shows the musculature. Because I feel like they're just not, a lot of these just aren't quite showing what I want. Although while I'm here, I'm definitely grabbing a few more reference pictures. Because holy cow, some of these are so good. All right, let's find a good deer. I think I am going to do an action pose because I think that might be the best way, honestly, to see some of these muscles. And I know I have some really good ones of deer in great poses. Oh, let's do, I won't make you guys do this, but look at this fallow deer, guys. Just look at him. Don't you just want to draw that? I mean, come on. So you can see those really nice palmate antlers. I kind of do want to draw this, I'm not going to lie. I might do this on my own at the end of stream. I'm not going to put you guys through that. But like, what a pose, right? What a pose. He is just very majestically scent marking something right now. But yeah, if you haven't seen fallow deer, they are really cool. Those palmate antlers are nice, and there's so much color variation in a fallow deer. They can be they can be everything from like pure white to pure black to spotted. Here's like a list of different palmated animals, different species of moose or subspecies. I have way too many reference pictures open right now. I had a really good one that showed all of the different, oh, here it is. This might even be that same artist. It's in German, so I don't know what all these words are, but hold on. Look at these. So I'm assuming that's a Sika deer, an axis deer. This looks like an elk. Obviously that's a moose. I don't know what that is. Maybe a roe deer? Anyway, I don't speak German, but I love the different antlers that you can see. So let's do, ooh, look at this beautiful boy. Wow, what a pretty animal. I don't know what that is. This looks like a young, looks like people are saying it's a young animal, or a young reindeer. Wow, that's cool. Okay. Gotta stay focused. Gotta stay focused. Ooh. This pretty boy. Ugh. These animals, you guys. So axis deer, this looks like an axis deer to me. Here's another great one. Axis deer have really interesting antlers because they only have like a couple of prongs and they keep their spotting to adulthood. This, I'm pretty sure that's an axis deer. I could be wrong. I want to say they're from like India, but you also see them in Europe. I think they might be invasive in some places, like they were introduced. That's pretty. Shoot, I put that in the wrong place. Okay, let's get back on track, Casey. Focus, focus, focus. So the one that I want to do, that I think you guys will not want to do, is this jumping pose, or this running pose. I just feel like you can really see the anatomy really nicely when an animal's moving. So tell me what you think about that one. And if that one looks too complicated, I will try and find a better one that doesn't have quite as much movement. Although I make no promises here. Here's another really nice one. It's also a good leaping pose. The yoga pose that he's doing, right? I know. It's just a multiple. Appalachian born and raised. The wildlife in Western Virginia was everywhere. Black bear in backyards. Oh yeah, we have a black bear issue too. See what I can do about. Wait, you gotta adapt what you can reach. That's true. That's true. I'm really feeling one of these running poses. Hopefully you guys don't feel like that's too complex. I think we're gonna try one though. I didn't hear anyone say no, please don't stop. I hate it, so I think I'm just gonna do it. Mostly because I don't see, oh, this one's not too bad. It's just blurry. I don't see any other like good clear shots of like deer during the season where they're not super furry and you can actually see the muscles like this. So I think we're just gonna go with this for now. Ooh, that's a good picture too. Ah, all right, I have to get off Pinterest. This is what happens when I get on Pinterest. Just like, look at all these cool references. Okay. Let's do, you want to grow back scratchers on your head? I do love this picture, but it's a little dark, so it's hard to see. So we're gonna nix that one. I just like this image. We're gonna keep it up. I do like that image too, but we're not drawing a fallow deer right now. As much as I want to draw this one, we already drew that one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that leaping pose. How do I close this? Close. No, cancel. Wait, what? No. Yeah. Where'd the other one go? I thought I had another one pulled up. I thought I showed you guys another Warmup. Wait, is it on this one? No. Where did I put it? There was another really good one that was, oh. Wait, here it is. Okay. Yeah, this one's nice. See how big this image is. Good resolution, maybe? It's pretty small. But I like this one. So you can really see it all stretched out and really leaping, showing all those muscles. So let's do this pretty girl right here. That long tail. This is that white tail, that white flag, right? She's beautiful. Okay. Hopefully that's not too complex, guys. Unless you just really want to do antlers again, which I feel like we should, but I'm going to give you guys a break on the antlers. This will go a lot faster. Then maybe I can squeeze in one more, just for me. But if you've been drawing all of these, yeah, you've probably already hit your 30-minute mark. So if that was your goal, congratulations, you did it. All right, so first thing, right, we look for our shapes. Oh, let me share this on Discord because I don't think I have this one pinned either. Oh, look at that, Amaze already chose one. Well, you can do either one. There's two running ones right there. Pick one to do. All right. I guess we'll just do it here. All right, big shapes, right? 1, 2. Look at this. You can see really like how flexible the spine is on this animal. It's I think quite a bit more flexible than a horse actually. Horses, or maybe you can just see more because I feel like with a horse you'd have like so much muscle going on and the withers are so high. Maybe it's just harder to tell. But there's a lot of flexibility in these small deer especially. Not so much with a moose. A moose isn't going to have that same kind of arch to its back when it's leaping around. I'm not even sure if a moose will leap. Has anyone ever seen a video or a picture of a moose leaping? I don't know if they do that. Oh, another fun thing I found out is that when deer, or really kind of antelope, deer, kind of any ungulate. How do I want to do this? Maybe I'll draw below. That's better. When they kind of do this like jumping, not this isn't quite it, but there's a name for it when they're kind of bouncing, you know, like kind of like doing that little hoppy bounce thing to get around. It's called pronking, which is, in my opinion, one of the best words in the English language that I've discovered recently. And then it just makes me want to think about other animals pronking. Pronking, it's so good. Pronking pronghorn. Oh, a pronghorn would be a good one. But a fun thing to note is pronghorn are actually not deer. A lot of people put them in the same category. They do look very similar. They're actually the only, I think it's the only North American antelope. It might even be the only, I don't even know if do they have antelope in South America? I think it's like one of the last, yeah. It's like a, I want to say it's like an Ice Age animal maybe? It's kind of like a moose. Like they've been around, they've just, that, you know, that body design has like really survived through all the ages. But yeah, they are not deer. So if you thought they were deer, now you know. They are in fact antelope. So you might have thought like antelope only lived in Africa, but we actually have one here in the US. Also, unrelated fun fact, there are 2 squirrels running around chasing each other outside my window. They're very funny. So if you hear noises, that's what that is. They're very loud. All right, shapes, Casey, shapes. Don't get caught up, we're doing shapes. But look at how pronounced the shoulder is here compared to like what you would see in a horse. I love the stretched out pose. I mean, look at the knee, the ankle, all that stuff. I wonder what's going on here. Almost looks like an injury of some kind. Sorry, my music settings are still a little messed up. All right, I'm back. All right, so we got the shoulder, arm here. By now, hopefully some of you who've been doing a few of these are kind of in the groove and don't need me to be along with you every step of the way, hopefully, but if not, sorry about that. If you're new and you're trying to follow along. Alrighty. So pay attention to what you can see, like these little shapes too. I'm still getting a little caught up, a little too early, but I do want to like make sure I capture, yeah, just capture the forms the way you're seeing them actually, and not what you think they look like. So when I was a teacher, one of the things that I would always say to my students, especially if we were doing like a still life, or I mean, not that we did a ton of that because it was elementary school, but I did have them do like still lifes and work from reference sometimes. And I would always say the best way to work from reference of any kind, whether it's a still life or a plein air painting or whatever you're doing, is to challenge yourself to look at look at what you're actually trying to draw more than at your paper or what you're like where you're drawing. So like watch your eyes and try and make sure your eyes are mostly looking at the reference and not looking at your picture, because it's really easy to like stare just at your work and just kind of like tweak it and draw what you think looks nice, but not actually see. I'm still I can't, I don't want to mess up, so I am looking at my reference, but just yeah, try to take like just do like a personal audit and just kind of track your eye movements and be like aware. How often am I, like how much time am I spending just looking at my drawing and drawing what I want to draw, or drawing just kind of like making lines without looking at the reference first. Just kind of a way to gauge whether or not you're actually drawing what you see versus what you think you're seeing, because that is how you avoid, that's how you avoid bad art habits, right? Like drawing something a certain way instead of how it actually is. You're drawing what you think it looks like. All right, let's get that fun tail flag here. I wonder, I feel like white-tailed deers must have longer tails than a lot of cervids, because I feel like that is quite the tail that we have there. Autumn turns leaves will breeze. Perfect. She goes. There we go. Okay. These ankles, you guys, are so intense. Autumn turns leaves, winter will breathe. All right, there we go. All right, I'll move on from this one because I know I kept it on screen a little longer when I wasn't working, so probably some of you are finished. I think I'm gonna do one more. So I've decided when I do these, I think I want to color at least one, and I haven't really found one that I want to color yet. Maybe this one. I do like a good action pose. But don't hate me, but I'm probably gonna draw that really crazy fallow deer now. Because I think that is a super fun pose, and that's the one I think will go out on. So yeah, hopefully you guys got to do some sketching. If that was your goal, if you're just hanging out, that's fine too. Obviously, I'm always happy for company, and thanks for those who are new to chat today. It's good to meet some new folks. Always happy to see what you guys draw. If you'd like to, you can share that in the Discord, but you certainly don't have to. Just an option. I am doing, for anyone on Instagram, I am starting a hashtag for this. I'm just going to call it a sketch along, I think is what I'm going to call it. So it's kind of what it is. But yeah, if you'd like to share your work, like what you, whoops, when did that happen? Like what your results were. Feel free to do that under that hashtag if you don't like sharing things on Discord. Or if you're watching, like if you're on some other platform like Facebook or Twitter, you can also just reply in the comments. That's totally fine. I know everybody kind of finds these streams in different ways, so no pressure to join any particular thing. But I'd love to see if anybody wants to share. I would love to see what you guys came up with and how it worked, and also feedback. I was kind of brainstorming about themes for February, so I think I'm gonna at least keep doing this in February. I'm not committing to doing it all year because I have no idea what this year is gonna hold, and I may not have time. But right now, it's been a really good practice for me. So I think I'm gonna go into February, and I've already been kind of thinking about topics. So I think I'm gonna, it doesn't always have to be animals, and it doesn't even have to be the same theme every week. That's just kind of what I did this first time because it helped me think of ideas. But I was thinking things like especially after yesterday's stream, I think I want to focus, like do 1 week that's like elemental stuff. So doing studies of like how to paint fire, how to paint ice or draw ice, or I'll probably lean more into color with some of those. Wood texture, you know, things like that. So I think I'm going to do at least 1 week that's those things. So if that sounds interesting, if those are things you've wanted to get better at, but you just feel intimidated by the process of starting it, well, join me because I'm not good at those things at all. I very rarely do elemental things in my work. So I will be learning. I'll be learning on stream, here for everyone to point and laugh at, or, you know, whatever. Yeah, so feel free to join for that. But if you have ideas, like if there's things that you would like to learn that you just need that little bit of like accountability to draw it with somebody, yeah, let me know. Let me know in the chat or in Discord or whatever. Happy to hear about what you're looking at. I think I'm gonna do like a mechanical one because I need to get better at like planes and motorcycles and cars, and I was trying to draw a spaceship yesterday and I was like, I don't even know how to draw a spaceship. So things like that. That's the whole purpose of this series for me. And then if people want to join me for learning those things, that's great. If that's not your speed, that's fine too. I'm a little more comfortable with animals. I've been drawing animals a long time. So if you're feeling kind of discouraged because you're like, oh, like my animals don't look like that, like don't worry, just draw them for 30 years and then they will. But what I haven't drawn for 30 years is cars. So I just need to, yeah, I'm really trying to expand my skill set this year. Trying to, for those who don't know, I'm trying to get into book illustration. So I just feel like I need to really ramp up my skill set and my breadth of work in order to make it into that field, especially right now because it's really hard. It's always hard to break into, but publishers are very reticent to take on new, untried talent right now. There's a lot of, you know, uncertainty in the publishing world at the moment with sales and all the book banning. I'm not going to get into any of that, but yeah, just that's a lot of the feedback I've been getting, and a lot of what I've been hearing from agents and agencies and publishing houses is that you really got to blow them away with your portfolio for them to want to take a risk on you, because they just don't want to sink money into somebody who whose work may not sell the book, you know. Because for better or worse, we are visual, and as much as we say don't judge a book by its cover, a lot of times it is the art that sells the book initially, to a reader or to a prospective buyer who's never heard of the book. So yeah, that's my goal. That's what we're trying to do. So if you want to be along for that journey, feel free to follow along. You can always hang out. You don't have to draw with me, but if you want to support me in that, a follow is always helpful. Sharing work is helpful, but yeah, just hanging out with me, honestly, and keeping me accountable is really helpful. So thank you guys. When I look at the screen and I see people in chat or people watching, I'm like, oh shoot, I better work. So that'll help, especially when we get to like motorcycles and cars, because I'll be like, oh, I don't want to draw this, like I don't know how, I don't want to draw it on screen because people are gonna look and see how terrible it is. So I will definitely need that accountability when we do that. But all right, let's do one more. So if anyone wants to, draw along with me on this one, you sure can. I feel like 3 or 4 is kind of usually what most people, they hit their 30-minute mark by. But I really want to draw this dude. Where'd he go? Yeah, I'm gonna draw this guy. He's great. Look at him. How can you not just want to draw that? How do you see this picture and go, you know what I don't want to do is draw that? I don't know, it's a mystery. Because that's the opposite reaction that I have. All right, where do we want to put him? Oh, I guess he fits here, that's fine. Hilarious. All right, yoga deer, let's do it. These antlers are gonna be kind of fun. And they are the palmated antlers that we were talking about. So they've got all those pieces. Oops. all those pieces that we were looking at. I'm gonna draw in a bright color so you guys can see. So we got the, the beam, as they called it, and then we've got the palm up here. And then of course we have the little front bit and a little bev. Actually, it only has a few of the bits, but it's got the basic bits, So that's what we're gonna be doing. I'm excited. All right, fallow deer. Very fun. I am also very hungry. I might take a snack break after this, but let's draw first. The back scratcher. Oh, just hanging out today. I'm low energy. Oh, well, thank you. Hey, you know what? If you find this cozy and you like chatting about art, you're in the right place. I like cozy people. A spaceship can look like anything. You say that, but I just didn't love my flying cardboard box with a propeller on the back, because just take a shark, paint it silver, now you have a spaceship. I do have a book by Jake Parker that I got last year that I haven't had a chance to study. I may pull that out for the spaceship ones. If you guys haven't seen Jake Parker's work, you probably have and just don't realize it. His spaceships remind me of a mix of like Star Wars and Toriyama style, almost sort of steampunky, like mechanical, gritty. I don't know. I really like the way he adds so much life and like fun shape to a spaceship. Yeah, I just feel like I want to study that. But I think I'll probably, when we do the spaceship study, I'll probably start with, look at this little Adam's apple, by the way. Do you guys see that? That is what that is. I'm pretty sure fallow deer have that. I don't know if all deer do, but look at his little Adam's apple. He's just showing off. It's like I'm so manly. Oh my gosh, what a ham. This is the most dramatic fallow deer. These are actually much smaller than you would think. When I first saw fallow deer, I thought they were like the size of a red tail, but they're so small. For as much antler as they have, they're very little. Should go look up a size ref of a fallow deer. Actually, I guess I did have one. Where is it? Yeah, look at this little guy. I guess he doesn't look that small here. This looks too big, frankly. Go look at a picture, because there's a place here that has fallow deer, like a little farm that you can go feed a bunch of animals like elk and stuff. And yeah, they have fallow deer. And I remember the first time I saw one was there, like in person. I knew what they were, but I just had only seen pictures online, right? Those things, they came up to like just above hip height. They were so small. They were so little. I just didn't think that they would be so small, I was picturing this grand, like majestic beast, these big dramatic antlers, and they're so tiny. They're so tiny. All right, let's make sure we get the form right on this like yoga pose deer. He's showing off like a barrel chest. It's really stretched out. Let's see. Try really hard not to sing on stream today. I was listening back to see. I did get copyright dinged on my stream yesterday just a little bit, because I think my speakers were so loud that my microphone was picking up the song, but it didn't play like on the track. So I'm just gonna try and watch that a little bit better. Not get quite so into listening to the music. Eventually I'll get like a Bluetooth headphones or something so that I can hear it, but you guys can't through my mic. Man, I almost wish there was no grass here, because I really want to see, like I can see part of the hoof. Like here's those prongs, right? So we can always reference back to our, our little picture here. But it's like crazy how much these bones right here seem to be bending. Like it's almost, I want to know if it's like, is he pointing them? You know what I mean? Like, or how much are the toes? I just wish I knew. I can't tell. The grass is in the way. I do think I made this a little too dog-like though. Hold on. Let's look at our shape here. Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. It is looking like a greyhound, yeah. No, it's absolutely. I'm thinking the same thing. Like it has a very dog-like pose. The face shape is very dog-like from this angle. They're just really small little deer. They have a very greyhoundy shape. It's just another way that, like, you know, you would never see an elk doing this. Like it's clearly a much more flexible animal. Oh, this ear angle is nuts. Hold on. So it's coming out right here. Sometimes I like to think of it like I'm sculpting. So it's like I would pull it out right here. And that sometimes helps me think about form. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if I love that eye. We'll come back to that. I want to get the form down. I'm going to. Hopefully once we add the antlers, it won't look quite as much like a greyhound. But I love how you can see like the short fur, like the little wrinkles in it from this weird long stretch. Yeah, what a fun little deer. I think I did make the body slightly too long. This guy's little tail tucked. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for you. I guess I can look at these hooves and kind of see how he's standing. Look how small his little feet, his little hooves are compared to the other ones. See, looking at it now, I can tell, like, okay, there's a lot of clues here that this was a small animal. But okay, hold on. I want you guys to see some of these pictures I'm talking about. Like when you look up fallow deer, you get like, hold on. Like look at this creature. Like what part of that looks like a small animal to you? Do you see what I'm saying? Like this looks like a moose elk. And there's so much variety in their shapes, but like nothing about these pictures makes me think, you know what that is? That's about the size of a German Shepherd. there's no way. It just looks so like big and muscular and like these massive antlers, right? And then you see them in person and they're just like they're so little. They're so little. And cute. Look at this guy. Look at him. That's a fallow deer. These are the same animal. This is what I'm saying. Like there's so much color morph in this species. Like you can have like this guy who's like this mottled mixture, right? Of he's got the spots, he's got the dark. Maybe he's younger and he's like changing, but like this is the same exact species. They're nuts and they're so cool. They're like probably one of my favorite deer. But like that, yeah, the fact that this is the same animal just like blows my mind. Not this is not the same animal, obviously. But anyway, they're tiny. They're so tiny. Like the littlest deer. Let me see if I can find a picture. Fallow deer with human. Okay, yeah, here's how big they are. Just, you can also type this up, but like, they little, look how little. It's just a little baby. It's like the size of a fawn, like for a normal deer. Anyway. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. But yeah, they're very cool. They're very cool. And there may be different subspecies. I'm not super familiar with the fallow deer. you know, like maybe there's some that are like slightly bigger and some that are smaller. I don't really know much about, you know, the phylogeny, if you will, of all of that, but they're fun. Highly recommend looking them up. I want to say they're mostly in Europe. I think that's where they're from originally, but we do have some herds here in the States. Just mostly at like zoos and stuff, I think, and like reserves, or preserves, I should say. Kind of like the one we have down the road from me. Yeah, so tomorrow, if anybody wants to sketch tomorrow, just for anybody who might have to leave soon, or if you want to hang out tomorrow, I'll be doing this again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat place, right? Just different theme. So tomorrow will be Cervid of choice. So if you are somebody who is wanting to draw, just maybe if you don't want to do a new one and you want to practice more of some of these animals, or maybe you wanted to draw a moose and we didn't do that today, you know. Yeah, go find some reference. As of right now, I think I'm probably going to be doing a bighorn sheep. It's like a totally different, I think it's Caprini. I think I have a whole different reference folder for them. They are ungulates, but they're not deer. Now this one's a little confusing because you can't, his knee is right there, but it's kind of blocked by his other foot. I think I made that too long. That's why that looks funny. But yeah, find a reference that you'd like and come ready with it, or just use whatever I'm using. Like I said, right now I'm probably going to be doing a sheep, but I may find a cool ungulate that I want to do tomorrow and change my mind entirely. So I tend to be fickle. That I have no idea what this foot looks like, guys. I don't want to make it up, but like it really bothers me. I mean, just based on like how close this little prong is to these toes, I can make like an educated guess that he's just like on his tiptoe right there. But I don't know. I don't want to do it wrong. We're just gonna, it looks wrong. Something, it just doesn't look right. We'll just say he's on his tiptoes. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like not knowing. I want to know. Do you like that you can see his little leg bones in there though? Okay. Right, well, we're just gonna have grass, I guess, here. It looks like I'm being lazy, but I just can't see it, so I don't know what he's doing. It's very frustrating. Okay. The antlers. Fun part, right? Do you want to draw his eye first? So remember, think about where the eye is in relation to the ear. It's kind of like on a horse, right? You want to make sure that eye socket, that there's like space between the ear, that there's like kind of a little bit of a not a gap, but like, you know, it kind of sinks in right here, right below the antlers. So there's like room for the ear to kind of come out of here, and then that bone separates it, you know, the eye is in front. So try and keep those things in mind if you can. It will help with, well, just with how happy you are with the final result, if you can remember those things. All right, and the antlers, the fun part, right? We're gonna use our bowl trick and our other tricks that we learned today. Already kind of sketched in part of it right here. But yeah, here's our main beam. Let's start with that main beam. It's gonna look kind of funny because most of it's gonna turn into a big pomade thing. But we're gonna draw that coming out right above the eye. Actually, I don't know if I curved that enough. Hold on. Oops, I know I'm supposed to draw the other one first. Sorry, going out of order. Just like that. Okay, let's draw the other beam. So remember our bowl, and it's behind on the other side, so it's kind of coming around It's kind of a funny angle, but we'll get it. We'll get it. I believe in us, guys. I'm trying to not get distracted by the pomade part. Okay, there we go. So it comes out. Remember, highly recommend tracing lines and forms if you can't figure out visually until you get your eye trained. Sometimes it's helpful. I certainly do it a fair amount. You think the toes are longer? Oh, hold on. The ears and eyes made it into a deer. Yeah, finally doesn't look like a greyhound, right? Didn't know they got that dark just because it was orange. Yeah, I think it just depends on where you're from. Because you're from the UK, right? Like, you probably have these, don't you? Do you guys have deer where you live? I can't remember. Aren't deer, like, not, no, they're, like, not endemic to some parts. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're from Europe, though. So they're going to be way closer to you naturally than they are to me. But yeah, we have, at that little park I was talking about here, they've got a super dark one, like an all black one, and like an all white one. It almost looks albino, but if you look closely, you can tell it's just leucistic, right? So it's like the opposite of melanistic. A lot of people are familiar with melanism or melanistic animals, like the black panther, right? Which is basically just a melanistic jaguar. So it's not actually a different species, FYI. It is still a jaguar, or yeah, a jaguar. It's just oh wait, no, is it leopard? Shoot, now I'm confused. Jaguars are in Africa, aren't they? No, leopards are in Africa. Darn it, it's the ones that are in, hold on, black, now it's gonna bother me, is a melanistic what? Oh, I guess it can be both, a leopard. Oh, I didn't realize it could be a leopard or a jaguar. Interesting. I want to say it was isn't it leopards that are in Africa? Yeah, African leopard. Yeah, so it's a jaguar. Right? Anyway, the ones I'm thinking of are I think a jaguar. But either way, point is, I'm not a zoologist, guys. I'm just a fan. I don't actually know things. Please double check everything I say. But yeah, I know a lot of people think that albinism is the same thing as leucism, but it's not. Being leucistic is just a trait. Now I can tell. I think I drew his body too thick because I'm not able to fit all of his horns. I got a little too excited about that those withers there. So we're gonna make it a little more slender again. It's gonna look a little more greyhoundy, but then I'll be able to fit his whole antler. There we go. And I honestly have no idea like how involved humans are in that process of like the coloration on the deer. I feel like they do that naturally, but I'm sure that there's farms that breed like certain colors, for like hides or something, whatever people are using things for. Look at his little whiskers. He's showing off a little beard there. Look at him. Look at this boy. So cute. I'm sure they can be feisty. He has little deer syndrome. He's short, so he has to make up for it. No, he's cute though. Very, very majestic and proud. Lengthen that just a little bit. All right, there we go. So we have drawn, or maybe I have drawn, I have no idea if anyone else drew that with me, but we have drawn a fallow deer. And I kind of want to color him because I really like the colors on this guy too. Let me finish drawing his muscles. Gotta, make sure we're really giving him his full credit. He's a very handsome boy. And then I am probably gonna have to head off after this because I do need to get some other stuff done today. As much as I'd like to just sit and draw all day, I think when I started off on this, illustration journey, I was like, yeah, I'll just get to like draw all day and then just share that work and then it'll be great and then I'll get to be in the industry. And it's like, no. So much of what I do is, especially this year, I feel like I've just been fighting tech issues all year. But yeah, so much of what I do is not just getting to draw all day. So I actually need to do some what I call admin stuff after this. Got to get ready for tax season. That's coming up. Ugh, not excited about that at all. Okay, and you were talking about the feet. Hold on. Leopards in Africa. Yeah, okay. Is kind of a funny angle is this whole deer. I think the toes are longer than what you can see in what you're drawing. That's what I think too, but like I'm also looking at the level. Oops, that was not a straight line, FYI. Like the level of the feet, it's like unless his body is like more towards the camera. Like here's the bottom of this foot. It seems like this one should be right there, And so maybe it is like that, perhaps? That's kind of what I thought at first. That angle looks so weird. And it makes his toe look so small. I don't know. And then what do I do with this thing? And that still makes it too low. You know what I don't know. Something about this picture, there may be some foreshortening here that I just can't see. Like some very mild, like maybe his back half is like slightly turned this way. And I just can't tell. But anyway. From Norway. Oh wow, that's cool. Man, that's awesome. And you have them, in theory, have fallow deer, but it's on the border of their northern range. Oh, okay. You have roe deer. Okay. Do you call them elk or do you call them moose? Because I know, aren't they elk over there? Like in Europe? Like on that side of the world? That's really cool. Do I need to link casual geographic? Yeah. Black Panther just could be left as a jaguar. Yeah. The neck that I drew is a tad short. It's possible. I definitely, now that you mention it, I did make that look a little too dramatic, but maybe that lengthens it a bit. Kind of decrease the bump in that neck to make it look a little longer. There's definitely like a slight curvature right there, but good call. There. Maybe it's the body. Yeah, I think it was probably a little bit of both, honestly. Like, I'm not perfect at this. Gotta go tend to your dog. Oh, hey, yeah, thanks for hanging out. It was so nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. Hopefully we get to see you again sometime. Call video going. Okay, sounds good. Norwegian moose is called elg. Oh, yeah. I think that's common because I think even here it's like even in German it's got elk in the name, like Elkwild. Yeah, like they're all elk, and I think the way that you probably know this. For anyone who doesn't know this, the reason those names are different is when European settlers got to America and they saw elk, like they didn't know what to call them, so they just called them elk, which was because they're these really big. This isn't quite, I'm quite big enough. I think they're like bigger than that. But like they're really big deer and they didn't have a word for it. So they just called them elk because that was what they were called where they were from, like big deer. And then there were moose here also. And so I think one of them is like, I forget where the name moose comes from. I want to say it was like it's probably like a Native American word. It's where we get a lot of our names sometimes of things. But I could be wrong on that. Okay, let's color this boy. This dramatic boy. So much drama. Mystery feet that bother me. Don't know how to deal with that. Alright, march that down. Sweet. And color. Look at that. I kept it to 3 layers today, guys. I'm so proud of me. Alright, we're going to color. I'm going to try and not do color selection, so it's probably going to be a little bit saturated and off. The drama, you guys, the drama. Look at this beautiful boy. Didn't waste it. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me home. Did not like the way that brown was blending. You're sweet. All right, let's color in our deer. A very loosey-goosey background here. I'm not going to worry too much about the accuracy. I'm just gonna reinforce the dramatic shadow. That's all I really wanted out of that. Yep, or British settlers using the word elk from German. Yeah, not knowing what a moose was beyond a big deer. Exactly, yeah, and they found a big deer, and so they called it that. Yeah, that was what I heard. The word moose from Algonquin. Oh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that. Abenaki moths. Interesting. Yeah, Native American word. Yeah, that's how a lot of things worked here. Is like we didn't have words for things, so you're gonna hear like slightly butchered versions of Native American words being used, because that was just what the the Native people called it, so that's what the settlers called it. I want this to be a little bit reddish, because I like the reddish undertones. So for anybody who's new to digital work, I've probably explained this before, but you can color things in you can kind of cheat, I guess, in a way. Cheating might not be the right word, but you can kind of speed up the process by kind of finding the line art, kind of like this. Obviously, you can see all the messy edges here. It's not perfect. And then you can invert your selection. And then just use that. You'll just select it and color. Yeah. It's kind of a fast way to do it if you're... You can also use the fill bucket. I just like the motion of coloring, guys, so I just like doing it. It's very satisfying to me to watch things get filled in. It looks like I selected the wrong part here. Clean it up ever so slightly. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it is a faster way to do it. And the reason you want to do this is that you can actually, in most digital art programs, there's like a way to preserve it's either called like preserve pixels or preserve opacity of a layer. In Photoshop, it looks like a little checkerboard thing in the layer menu. Here in Sci, basically I just click this preserve opacity button, and now every time I color, it will stay inside those lines. So basically it just keeps the part you already colored as the active area, and everywhere else is essentially off limits. So it's kind of like masking in a way. It's a little bit masking-y. But yeah, fun little tip if you are not a digital artist, but you are new to it or trying to learn. This saves a lot of time, for sure. So what I'm doing is I'm blocking in the color, like I'm finding all the lighter colors. I don't really like that. I want it to be a little more reddish. No, not quite that red. Hold on. We're gonna play for a second. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit red. Trying to do this without picking the color from the image. Oh, it's too dark. So once I have my colors that I want, then I will blend it all together, and it will make like a nice sort of wash of color. Just sort of following these colorful patches I'm finding in the image. I'll go back later and do the white spots. So that's coming. It's just I'm not gonna do that right now. Do like that gray smudge though. It's got a little bit of gray on his ears. And I'm coloring under the antlers too, just to make sure that that color is in there, even though it's not technically part of that part. But yeah, save the white for last, because that will mess up if you choose to color this way. It will mess up your blending if you put the white in too soon. The light and be seen as we are, standing in light, seen as we are. Okay. And I haven't really messed with the blending tool as much in size, so it doesn't blend quite the way that I would prefer, but it'll work for this. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. It's just for fun. You can play around with like density and spread and all kinds of stuff in most paint programs. And you can also do this in like a watercolor brush. We'll see that a lot too. I'm just doing kind of a large one just to get those big areas of color. Just be careful you don't blend away all of your color. And then once I have the body, I will do the antlers and the white spots. Those will be last. Just going in with a watercolor brush now to kind of bring out some of those highlights again. Okay. Feel pretty good about that. Some of this is probably shadow too, but that's okay. What a dramatic little man. Let's get that ink brush. I'm not getting quite the brightness that I want with watercolor. I'll blend it back in a minute. I forgot his Adam's apple after I spent so much time talking about it. Hold on, we're gonna fix that. Let's see. Probably a little less pronounced here, but that's okay. At least we got it in there. We ran young. Now I'm looking for you. Anyone like you? Alrighty. This has really pretty markings. Love that dorsal stripe right there. I'm gonna do some of that spotting. Oh, he's got like a little knee spot or something right there. I'm not sure what that's about. Get his hooves. Sometimes instead of using black, I'll just use like a really dark, like deep value version of some main color. So like right now I'm using like a dark brown instead of black for the hooves. I do want to emphasize his little eye spot there. I do like how his antlers are slightly like a deep ebony reddish color. Try and get that. I don't know if I can. They do kind of fade as they go down, but I like them. All right. Also, a lot of these deer have white-tipped antlers. I think elk have this too. You'll see it a lot in, I wonder if it's the trait for just like palmated. I don't know if I have noticed it. It's probably in whitetails too. But yeah, I like that little detail as well. So I think I'm gonna throw that in there. Oops, but make sure my opacity is still preserved. One day, one day. Alright, let's see if I can blend this in a way that keeps some of that texture. Just a nice little fade, I like that. To no longer colors, waiting for, praying for people to say. I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and make a little extra layer here for these spots. Just in case I don't like the way they come out, I don't have to redo everything, so. One day, one day. Well, that's not working. Why is that not working? Oh, probably help if I didn't have the blender on. Might work better. Some of them almost turn into stripes back here. That's kind of interesting to note. Noticing all these little things as you're working is part of what I mean, you'll hear a lot of artists say this, but I think this is part of filling your visual library in your head, right? Because you might remember that pattern right there, like, oh, some spots can turn into stripes and they can change in size, and you can add that to like a creature design down the road, or whatever you're doing. Yeah, things like that are just helpful to note. Also seeing that the spots sort of fade a little bit, so I'm going to see if I can select a lighter spot color here. Not quite as dark here on the hip. And I can always turn my blender back on and kind of fade them in a bit. I see some really faint spotting on this gray patch here, so I'm going to try and incorporate that Just a smidge. Shooting star. Cool. Didn't quite blend all the way up there like I thought it would. Just gonna blur the bottom parts of these to kind of make them fade a little more. Cool. There we go. There's our fallow deer. Probably could have done a better job on the color spot right here. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that before I gotta go. It is, I am spending a little too much time probably, but such a pretty boy. How can you not want to give him, you know, his full due? Alrighty. No, that'll have to do it. I gotta run. We'll look at this drama. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. It was good to have the accountability to do this. Probably wouldn't have done quite as many without you guys here, so appreciate that. I'll be like it one more time. I'll say it again. I'll be streaming again this time tomorrow, doing a Cervid of choice. So if you would like to join for that, that's when that's happening. Is at 10 Mountain Time. I will be streaming again in the evening that tomorrow as well. But this is it for today. I usually just stream Mondays and Wednesdays, like fuller streams that aren't sketch streams. So if you want to hang out for those, feel free. Don't forget to follow so you can get notifications. And then there's all the social stuff. Strut your stuff. You're right. I should. maybe I'll think about that. We'll put it on Redbubble. See how it does. A+ dear. Thanks. Yeah. Well, anyway, it was really fun, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. There's all the places you can join in on Discord, follow me online, whatever you want to do. Appreciate any of that. It's all helpful. It's all good. And yeah, I will catch you next time. See, look, I'm being better, guys. I've got my little closing thing here. I'm gonna see if there's any artists online. I do tend to only raid artists most of the time. So, oh, we got one. Who's this? I don't know if I've seen them in a while. But they're not doing art right now. Shoot. Let's see. How do you? I'm really bad at rating, guys. If anybody is good at this, it always closes after I do it. And I can't actually see what's happening. So I'm gonna go check this out. Maybe Wild Blue Studios looks like they're streaming right now. Might give them a little bit of a raid. I don't know what he's doing. He's not doing art. Bummer. It looks like he's doing portfolio reviews though, so that might be a good person to follow. Let's go ahead and raid them anyway, and just see what happens. I think they're kind of a bigger industry person. So if you are into following art, industry artists here on Twitch, we're gonna do that. So thanks for hanging out, guys, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one sometime. Later.